All right, guys, welcome to episode 5 of Overtime. We have finals week upon us today. We started. How is all your finals going today, guys? Good?
Yeah, pretty good.
Great. I know Connor had 3 today. So did you do all right today?
I had 3. I had all my big ones,
ones.
Chemistry, math, and history. So
Nice.
easy sailing for the rest of the week.
I know Rogo's like a finals robot, so I'm sure he was.
I only have 2 finals this year, surprisingly.
Dang, I got 2 as well.
And senior scheduling.
It's nice.
Have to love
Senioritis,
it.
too.
Hanson, how are you doing?
Good. I barely squeeze out an A in accounting.
Hey, man.
I'm lucky. But so today we do have Coach Austin Scott and starting senior guard Scott Rogowski. So you guys played Elk Grove on Friday and won 69-51, correct? And then you guys played Vider on Saturday the next day and lost 46-56 against Vider. So that was just recapping the past 2 games. So let's get to number 1.
Let's talk about Vider for a bit first. You guys were pretty good with the 3 ball. Clausen made 1 or 2, and then Brent made 3 as well, as having himself a pretty good game against Elk Grove too, most of them being 3s. How much do you think the 3 ball affects your team when you guys are on offense?
I think the 3 ball is huge for us. I mean, Brent's been phenomenal this year from the 3-point line. We kind of knew like that was his role coming into the year, but he's exceeded not only my expectations, but I think everyone. And he's been huge. Like when Brent's making his 3s, he sets us up for like a great position to win. And when he has, I mean, we pretty much have one, and you see it in the results.
Yeah.
I think the 3-point line is such a great momentum adjuster. I think that's, everybody watches the NCAA tournament in March and why 12 seeds always beat 5 seeds at least once a year. And I think the 3-point line has a lot to do with that. As Scott mentioned, Brent is shooting 52% from 3 in the year, which is an awesome percentage. Clausen's still above 50%. And then as a team, we're at 38, which is a really good number for a high school team.
Okay, that's a really good number.
And I think that is a statistic that's capable of doing a lot of things for us, like I said, in terms of momentum on the offensive end.
Definitely. So you guys play BG Friday. So what are you going to do to prepare against them, and especially Cam Kraft, who's their star player, who's averaging just over 23 points?
Yeah, well, we know BG, like, they play at a very fast pace. They're going to shoot a lot of 3s, and they love to run in transition. So it's going to be huge for us is, like, being able to stop them in transition with our defense and just making them make tough shots. They're going to, like I said, they're going to shoot a lot of 3s, so our ability to be able to limit them to the amount of open looks they get, that's going to be huge for us, and how much we could take advantage of our opportunities on our fast break offense, because if they're playing a fast pace, most likely we're going to be playing one too.
Yeah, I think Friday will be an interesting contrast in styles. Buffalo Grove obviously plays very fast. They lead the Mid-Suburban League in points per game, over 65. And then obviously Cam Kraft and Nate Cole are kind of their headliners, but I think their point guard, Tyler Kipley, is one of the most underrated players in the area. A great on-ball defender. I thought he was a difference maker in the prospect game that they won 63-61 last Friday. And he does a lot of things for them in terms of pressuring the basketball that are essential to their style of play. But Coach Peterson does a great job there, and they're very talented. That said, if we can get Buffalo Grove, you're going to have 3 teams, hopefully at 2-1 in the league, which is going to knot things up a little bit towards the top. And somebody's got to get the Mustangs. Meadows is on a roll. But that's what makes the Mid-Suburban League East such an interesting league to play in, such a competitive environment from top to bottom.
Yeah. And then BG, they have a pretty small starting lineup with Nate Cole and Cam being the tallest players. With Kraft being their star player, what do you think some keys are to locking Cam down on defense to prevent him from getting into a groove on offense and eventually stopping Cole and, like you said earlier, Kipley and the rest of the team as well?
Yeah, I think with Cam Kraft, he's going to score. He's going to make ridiculously tough shots in transition that seem unorthodox, but that's the style they play. He makes really tough shots. But I think we just have to make everything tough on them. I think when you give Buffalo Grove layups, their layups compound their tough 3s, and then you put yourself in a really uphill position trying to defend them. That's how they get to 70, 75 points. Yeah. I think if we're able to keep the game in the 50s and make Cam Kraft and Cole and Kipley and Brunelli and all those guys work for all their points, we give ourselves a chance to win. And that's all we ask for, is to have a chance to win in the second half and then make some winning plays that determine the outcome for us.
Yeah, and one thing with Kraft too, like one thing we're gonna have to do really well is to try to like limit his looks offensively. I expect to be guarding him on Friday night, and so just like my ability to like, keep the ball out of his hands, off the ball, and just making it really tough on him to make him tire him out or get in foul trouble.
He's a great mover. I think that's
Yeah.
one of his best skills, is he's a great mover off the ball. And then his length obviously allows him the comfort to get his shot off over a lot of people. But he's definitely tough to defend.
Yeah,
Definitely. So the next one, with the season just being over, quarter of the way done, what are you guys' thoughts on the conference so far? And obviously there's Kraft and Christie, who are the top players in the conference, but are there any players or teams like you have your eye on?
I think we all knew coming into the season how competitive MSL East was going to be, but I think there's also been a couple surprises. I don't think many people expected Wheeling to be as good as they've been early on this season, but besides like the superstars of like Christie and Kraft, I mean, just a bunch of people have stepped up for their teams, like Prospect. Like, they don't have a star, but like Matt Woloch, he stepped up big time for them, and
Definitely.
just a bunch of people just fitting in their roles and performing.
Yeah. I think the Mid-Suburban League, East and West, is on the upswing.
Yeah.
As Rogo said, Prospect's doing a great job. Is it Woloch?
Yeah, Woloch.
Woloch, yeah.
Wolo for
Woloch.
nickname, for short.
Everyone calls him Wolo.
Polish gang or what?
I think so, yeah.
All
Or
right.
some sort of Eastern European.
Yeah. He's done a really nice job. He's a difficult player to stop. I think Chase Larson has done a really nice job for Prospect as well. And then those underrated guys throughout the league. Like we talked about Tyler Kipley. I think hopefully a lot of other coaches would mention our players as some that are underrated.
And Christie at Meadows isn't doing like all the low. They got a bunch of freshmen, like Christie's little brother.
Is
and
he playing varsity?
Yeah, he's starting for him. And
They have
then
3 freshmen, I believe.
Jonah Ogunsaya, Jumpman Jonah.
Yeah.
We like to call him.
Afro.
Yeah, he's got he was all tournament team Thanksgiving, so he stepped up big
And
time
like
too.
you said, Wheeling's done a really nice job so far. And Wheeling is long. Holy
Yeah.
cow.
Yeah.
And they got some length and athleticism. I know they lost a close one in overtime last night to Crystal Lake Central, but Wheeling is going to definitely be a tough beat at home and, of course, on the road.
Yeah, playing both ways.
At the House of Wildcat.
There you go.
You guys missed quite a few layups in some of these games, but your offense has generally been looking like it's going in the right direction. What have you guys been doing at practice, or what adjustments have you guys made to improve your offense?
Right now we're doing a lot of situational work because down the stretches you guys kind of see in games, like we're right there with teams, but then when the other team goes on a run, we tend to like break loose and like we go on times where we don't score a lot, and so coach has been putting us through a lot of situations, like down 4, like a minute 30 left, and just trying to like execute. So that's been like our big focus, is just like execution and taking care of the ball, because we turn it over a lot.
Yeah, I think we've gotten better offensively in each game. I think we show signs of improvement. I think we have to be a little bit more creative on how we get into our stuff, and that starts with me and getting these guys in positions to be successful with our playmakers in a little bit of space, but also shot selection and taking good shots and avoiding offensive fouls. I think that's been a downfall of ours in these first 9 games, is we get a lot of charges, and I think that's because we go hard right, and sometimes we go hard right with our head down, which makes it easier to take a charge on some guys. But we'll adjust. We always say, Scott will tell you that's one of our program mantras, good players adjust. So we'll have to adjust to the way teams are defending us and find ways to get good shots and maximize our scoring opportunities.
Yep. Cool. So Scott, for anyone that has been to a game, or like I said earlier, is a starting point guard for the team, and is very solid. You don't make many mistakes or turnovers, but
3 to 1 assist to turnover ratio.
I did not know that.
3.02 to 1. I just checked the stats.
Really,
before
did you?
this.
Is that Sammy and Matthews stats, or is that?
No, that's
That'd be a
that's
little
the Huddle
unreliable
stats. Miza and Hanksler's stats are unverified. They go rogue a little bit sometimes, but that's Huddle, so that, it's sourced.
Yeah, Was more verified. So you are more of a defensive type of point guard, I'd say. Do you think you take on more of a defensive role and set your teammates up to score?
Yeah, I think my role on the team is like, just being like the point guard itself. I want to be like take care of the ball primarily and like get us into our offense and set up my teammates for success. I know coaches and even my teammates have said look to shoot more, and I take that in consideration. But my primary focus, is just setting up put my teammates in the best opportunity to score. And on the defensive end, I take pride in defense. Not a lot of people like playing defense, but honestly, I love getting in like my opponent's faces and just kind of annoying them. And I like guarding their other team's best players and trying to shut them down.
That's cool. All right, guys. Anything else? Or you not?
Yeah, Scott is a, I think, from the defensive standpoint, I think of myself as an offensive player. When I was in high school, the last kind of guy you wanted against you was a guy like Scott, right? A guy who was a little bit smaller than you, was always low, always in a stance, and always just made things difficult and had really quick hands and was frustrating to play against. And I think, like Scott mentioned, he has a great sense of pride in that. But I won't delay the unscripted portion of the show anymore. Right. I think we all know what we're here for.
We've got some spicy questions for Scott.
You have to know what your viewers want. All right.
This is the best portion, Scott. We've got. We're bringing you out on this one a little bit. Right. So the first one. Just to start off, the newer ones are at the end. So, Scott, every time we've asked people, you have been voted the best leader for every single person that's voted. So, I want to ask you, don't be afraid to say yourself if you think so, but do you think you are the best leader, or do you want to put the spotlight on anyone else?
I'm going to put the spotlight on somebody else. I'm going to go with Ethan Roberts. He's a junior, obviously. I think he does a great job just of leading by example. In practice, he does everything 100%, and he demands your best, which I think elevates the play of a lot of our players. So I'm gonna go with Ethan because he always has that passion and that mentality.
There you go, Ebo. 2
at ISO Ebo.
Shout out Ebo.
Ethan Roberts. 2. This one. You typically will do anything, I'd say. That's what I'd say. But is there anything that will annoy you that Coach Scott has you do?
I guess in the beginning of practice, we kind of split off between the big guys and the guards for skill work. And so when we start doing, we'll kind of isolate the point guards. We'll do 5 minutes of hell, he likes to call it, like a brutal dribbling drill, just stationary. And that just gets tiring. It's not the most fun way to start practice, I'd say, but I get it. It's it's vital to ball handling.
Scott usually does it with the heavy balls, too.
Does he?
Yeah, the medicine balls. Yeah. It makes it even worse.
All right. So, Scott, if you had to pick out a walkout song, what would it be first that comes to your mind?
I'm kind of sad on what Clay Augustine, I respect his taste in music. He kind of runs the streets in Arlington Heights on the rap gang.
A couple of his own songs.
Shout out Lil Augie. So I respect his decisions. That I voted on our walkout song along with the seniors. Chief Keef Love Sosa. I think that's a great one because I know a lot of people in our grade, the senior class, kind of think it's our anthem. So I'm gonna go Love Sosa.
What is your pregame snack?
So my pregame snack. So I'll usually go home before games and I'll make just some simple butter noodles.
That's it?
Yeah.
Butter noodles.
Put some olive oil on them and then maybe some
it.
mozzarella cheese. But yeah, I'm simple.
Scott's low maintenance. He's a low maintenance guy, man.
Yeah.
Don't need much. So Scott, you are like Coach Scott just said, you are low maintenance. Moving into shooting and stuff. If you were hit a dagger game-winning shot, what's your celebration?
A dagger game winner. I think I'd have to embody my reputation. I think a lot of people see me as a plain, old-fashioned guy. So I just coolly just hold the foul through a little bit and just walk back, shake the other team's hands, go through the then wait till
team's hand.
Yeah, go through the handshake line, then wait till the locker room to celebrate with my team. I'd say.
I like it.
Not try to be not too flashy.
Yeah, staying humble.
Yeah.
All right. So, who do you think is the biggest trash talker on the team?
Biggest trash talker. I mean, I'm gonna have to repeat my answer from earlier. Ethan Roberts. He just he's constantly bickering. I know he does. It's a lot of jokes for him, but even in practice, like he'll say something. But I think a very underrated trash talker is Ryan Goditis.
That's what I was thinking.
He's probably the smartest kid on our team intellectually, and so he just knows like right where he knows where it hurts. Like when you crack a joke at him, and he knows where to get Ethan. So I think those two together.
Yeah, I know Ryan and Ethan have a few classes together.
Yeah.
I know they have AP Lang together with Miss Connell, and I hear some good stories in there. But they rib each other constantly. And they're good friends, but they, you know, in the heat of a competition, they get personal all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But you know, we always make them hug it out, and they're
Yeah, everyone loves just watching it unfold.
it's good stuff.
I like it. All right. Coach Scott actually gave me a couple of these questions, so I want to nominate him. But the first one is, who's your celebrity crush?
Celebrity crush. I'm gonna go with.
We're live on Instagram.
Yeah,
she might get a follow on.
maybe.
We'll tag her.
I'm gonna go with Alex Morgan. U.S. Women's National Team.
Athlete action.
Yeah. So yeah, she's my pick.
I like it.
Right.
Winning gold medals and stuff, and she does it all.
You know, Scott has older sisters who are all athletes, huge women's sports advocates, so that ties into his answer there.
Yeah.
I like
Very
it.
Politically strategic choice. I
That's
like
a good
that.
choice.
I like that.
So moving into how Scott has 3 sisters. So obviously, did all 3 of them play basketball?
Yes, all 3 did.
At Hersey.
Yes.
So who wins a game in 21? How do you?
Let me preface this first. So I was talking to Mr. and Mrs. Rogowski last weekend, who are both very accomplished 16-inch softball players in Chicago. So I asked Mr. Rogowski who the best softball player was in the family, and he said Mrs. Rogowski. Judy was.
Yeah.
Judy was.
I go with myself personally.
Okay.
I don't think
some PE softball.
I don't think Scott is in the conversation.
It's debatable.
But he was very complimentary of Mrs. Rogowski and her skills, so I'm anxious to hear how Scott answers this one.
Yeah, wasn't the question who's the best 16-inch softball player?
No.
Yeah, wins the game at 21.
21. So am I like right now or like when everybody's in their prime?
Everybody's prime.
Yeah.
Everybody's prime. You know, I'd like to say that I'd win, but
Not a chance.
yeah. I don't know. My older sister Megan, she had quite a shot. So she'd be tough to defend. But I'm gonna go with my dad actually, because from stories he says he used to be a high flyer before his knee injuries.
He sounds like LeVar.
He'd play pickup games in Chicago with like Isaiah Thomas from the Pistons. They grew up in the same neighborhood area. So he said they'd be complimenting him on his jumping ability, his dunks, but so I don't know, maybe he'd elevate.
All right.
Interesting.
I like that answer.
I think
Hopefully he doesn't hear this.
I think a lot of people
definitely.
would pick Megan. I think a few people would pick Scott.
Yeah.
Mr. Rogowski obviously is an accomplished player in his own right. I think Kelly might claw herself to the top of that. I think defender, scrappy.
Kelly and I are kind of similar players.
Yeah.
We were both point guards, and yeah, she was also kind of like more the defender.
Scratcher and a
pass first
clawer. All right, on defense. So I think that'd be an interesting element to the game.
I like it.
Nonetheless,
that'd be a good
very
watch.
entertaining watch, though. I'd
Yeah.
subscribe.
Well, nobody's picking Claire, so I'll choose Claire. So if we're to ask Casimir, by the way, if you don't know who that is Mr. Rogowski. If we were to ask him, who runs the Rogo house?
My mom. Yeah, for sure. I think my dad likes to think that he does, but if he's not on my mom's good side, it's not a great side, so it's definitely my mom's house.
Judy ain't happy. Nobody's happy.
Yeah.
Nope.
And which isn't often. She's always usually in a good mood, and she doesn't really get mad very often. But you don't like to see it when.
That's
when
how
she
it goes
is.
down on Fairway Drive, right?
Golfview Circle.
Golfview Circle. My fault. My fault.
Yeah.
All right, so you are missing the game, Lake Forest, for a
unfortunately.
wedding. How do you think that's going to go? And whose wedding is it for?
So it's my cousin's wedding. My older cousin, Jeffrey. Shout out Jeffrey Kingsley. So he's getting married downtown this Saturday at the Marriott. And so obviously weddings, they're planned well in advance. So about a year and a half ago, they planned this date out. And me just finding out when our schedule got released, seeing that it was the day of our game at Lake Forest, Lake Forest, which is a big game for Coach Scott, his previous stomping grounds. But no, it didn't go over well with me. I went up to Coach Scott multiple times asking to switch the game times or something. But he said no. I tried to talk to my mom, see if I could just show up to the wedding later. She's had no time for that. But funny thing is, the groom, Jeffrey, he said he wants me to go to the game and come to the wedding later because that's one less meal to pay for. So he was all for it. And
needless to say, Jeffrey wasn't the end-all decision. As men often aren't.
Yeah, but
planning process.
I've tried. Believe me, I tried every way to get to that game, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen. And even if I went, I don't think Coach Scott would let me play.
No, I assured your mother that even if you do show up at Lake Forest, I'm not going to put you in the game. We always talk. We know how important Scott is to our team. That said, family obligations have to come first.
Yeah. But I don't think it's. I'm still very comfortable with our team's position to win that game without me there. I have the utmost confidence in my teammates, and I think Andrew Wagner is going to do a phenomenal job.
Stepping up.
Yeah, stepping up in my place. So I expect to get the win still.
I like it.
We'll keep them updated.
Yeah.
So this is the last one here. So Scott, you call my dad Coach still.
Oh yeah.
Is my dad the best coach you've ever had in your basketball career?
I'm gonna go yes. Paul Hansen.
HYBA
Summer League HYBA coach. I believe we were undefeated, and so.
No, we lost one game.
We were on vacation. We were on vacation though, some of us, but no. Coach Hansen, just a phenomenal basketball mind. Great subbing. He knew who had to be in come crunch time. We most times sub out Sammy Hanksler.
And brother Matt.
Yeah, put in Matt Miza for him. So, but no, Coach Hansen, he has all of my respect, and
I like it. All right, guys, that is all we have for you today for episode 5 of Overtime. I want to thank the men, the myth, the legends, Hersey Hoops, and Scott Rogowski for coming on.
Thank you.
They play BG at 6 o'clock on Friday, and then they play at Lake Forest, which Scott will miss, on Saturday at 5:30. So give them 2 last big show-outs to the games of 2019 before they head to play in Pekin for the Pekin tournament over winter break. Good luck to you guys, and thanks for tuning in for episode 5.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us as always, guys.